could replace the word drug with poison. Like anything that is not built on solid foundations, the brainwashing is as fragile as a house of cards and will collapse in an instant.
So those two clips were from Love Lies Bleeding, and then it showing that rabbit that's at the very beginning before the movie starts. And you can see a little white rabbit here on this house, which has two murals on it. One with the Queen of Hearts and Executioner of Clubs, and the other with the white rabbit. And this is at Kristen Stewart's childhood home. But you see the Queen of Hearts and the white rabbit. And if you watch my playlist starting right here at the Snow White Twilight and onward up to my most recent stuff, I've showed little disputes, and connections with her and Donald Trump and him being the Queen of Hearts. And I'm going to show you some more today. From July 13th, pay attention to that guy. It's Vincent Fosca. He has a yellow handkerchief.
That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Oh.
See it? He just stands the whole time. A yellow handkerchief. Yeah, he's associated with Q. So that last clip was from the movie The Yellow Handkerchief, and previously that guy who's sitting in the middle was telling those two in the front seat a story on about the woman they're going to meet in that scene that you just saw. And the next clip I'm going to show you, it will be, he just got done telling them the story, and there's a little predictive programming in there with her waiting for years, because we know that in Revelation 11 with the two witnesses, it really starts in Revelation 10 with the one taking the drink offering, because then that's where the taking the cup of salvation from Psalm 116 and calling on the name of Yahweh, making vows to Yahweh, that's those marriage vows. It even goes through like Habakkuk, where you got Yahweh in his temple, and but eventually, in Habakkuk 3:13, he's going to come for salvation, Yahweh will, of his people, for salvation with your anointed. You dash in pieces the head from the house of the lawless, which that anointed one would be the queen here, making her vows. And it's just like that Malachi 4, where, the lawless, all who commit lawlessness will be stubble, and that day will leave neither root nor branch. Hosea 9, where it talks about Ephraim is struck, the root is dried up. And then, he's that Joshua in Zechariah 3 who has that branch before him.
I would have waited. If somebody loved me like that, I would have waited and waited.
I just say that, but you don't know.
You had a fight. It was an accident. I would have waited for years and years.
So now I'm going to show you some clips from Utopia Season 1, Episode 8 from on Amazon. It's called Stay Alive, Jessica Hyde.
What is this?
Oh, the inoculation scar. A gift from your father.
No. He was protecting me. From you, your virus.
Not protecting. Testing. On you. You won't be having any children.
No, my dad loved me.
So people use that clip for, with the, those shots you can get in your arm, and they point that out in there. But there's also another little underlying thing in there with her not having any children, because you got that Micah 4 with the Tower of the Flock and the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, because they're getting chief dominion, and mentions in verse 9, why do you cry aloud? Is there no king in your midst? Has your counselor perished? For pangs have seized you like a woman in labor. Because she's going to bring forth the children from that Zephaniah 3, daughter of the offering. Because there'll be an assembling, those believing this message and believing in her. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in birth pangs. For now you shall go forth from the city, and you shall dwell in the field.
No, my dad loved me.
My dear, he didn't care about you. At all. He didn't give a fuck about you.
My dad left me.
By keeping you locked in a cage.
I was in my yellow house.
So Jessica Hyde in the gematria calculator, Holy Bride of Ruach HaKodesh. That's like the Holy Bride of the Most High. So just like the little underlying message they're trying to do in here with her, where she's, foreshadowing the queen. And another interesting one, morning dove. So you got, that bright and morning star from Revelation, and that's the bride. And then if you've watched this series, you know about the Song of Songs, my dove hidden in the clefts of the rock. And that's that morning dove.
I was in my yellow house.
Jay's house. That's semantics. He kept you locked in a fucking dog kennel till it was time for you to take your favor so he could do his work. Jessica, this should be underlined in blood. You belong to me.
Sounds familiar too from like a recent video I did from Kiss from a Rose. I showed some clips from Still Alice, and she talked about the winter coming, and I would just work. But back in the Psalm 116, so you got the taking the cup of salvation and making the vows to Yahweh, and she talks about, him, you have loosened my chains. I will sacrifice to you the sacrifice of thanksgiving, and I will call on the name of Yahweh. I will make my vows to Yahweh now in the presence of all his people.
She's feeble, faint, and fearful. She's plagued by every foul disease. Just how can she be cheerful?
So you see how that goes back to that Kiss from a Rose video, and with that white rabbit she's holding, and you got Kristen holding the white rabbit. In that video, Kiss from a Rose, I show clips of that, and I've shown different clips with the white rabbit and the connection throughout the series from Snow White, Twilight on, and then you have loosened my chains, all with the MK Ultra. And you can see that little foreshadowing in those Utopia clips, because he was talking about her being, like his, and she was like, but I was in my house. And he was like, yeah, so you're mine. It's a mind it deals with. Things aren't what they seem on the surface. And look at this coincidence. Kristen Stewart has a yellow house too. Well, this one might be sold already, but there's video clips of her saying, "My life is a simulation, like the Matrix." And it just so happens to be that she's got a yellow house, and there's a lot of blue paint on the inside of this one too, just like on that yellow house in the video of Utopia. It was blue on the inside, but there's yellow rooms in there too in that show. But you can see some, blue on the main room here, this little living room. A little blue on the bottom there on the inside, just like on that show. Especially here. And look, you got twins on this boat rolling away, and there's twins in that farther back painting. And look here, a picture of Elvis, which there's a little Trump Elvis conspiracy. Something on Instagram right here with Trump and Elvis, and he even shared it on his Truth Social, saying, "For many years, people have been saying that Elvis and I look alike. Now this picture has been going all over the place. What do you think?" And it's a QAnon conspiracy too, with the shrinking QAnon to merge with Elvis conspiracy. Yeah, I've seen more pictures of where they show Trump and them. They kind of do look alike. There's a thing saying he has a twin, but I don't want to go too deep in that. And look in this picture, there's a guitar in the back. If you saw my Day of Yahweh, Day of the King and Queen video, I did that song by Led Zeppelin, but that, the one with flowers in her hair, and the girl that cries and sings and plays guitar. And she plays guitar too. Kind of funny. But, and then this room, look at that bird. It's like a seagull or a pelican, like a long beak thing. It's just like, when I was in my Mustang and my water changed. It was like the first bird I saw, a big one like in this painting here. There was something else I wanted to show you from her yellow house also. There's another Elvis there. But it's like, what are they trying to tell you with that Elvis and all this Stewart and Trump connections? Like, he has her, she belongs to him. Like, there's that guitar again. But in the next clip I was going to show you, they show she walks into a room and you see a bed frame, and it's got the JH for Jessica Hyde. And it was funny, when I was going into the gematria, I was going to put in Jessica Hyde, and it showed Jessica Stewart. And look in her bathroom here, JS, like Jessica Stewart. Like the Jessica Hyde, but now with Stewart. But, it could be, James Stewart, middle name, last. But see that little connection? You'll see it in the next video I show. When the room opens up right on the bed frame, you'll see a JH. Seven, 11. So Kristen Stewart has the 7-Eleven logo as a tattoo because she goes there to get snacks, allegedly.
You think I want Utopia? Utopia was just big. A story about a little girl who, against all odds, battled her way home. Your very own hero's journey. Come home.
She also has a lot of 11s tattooed on her. Like those are like 11s, and there's like 2 11s there, but that's like for that band, the Black Flag. But pretty coincidental though. And then you got like that and sign. It's like an Ouroboros with an 8, and there's one right there on her wrist. And if you know from Lord of the Rings, how his ring has the snake devouring the other, and it's, you know, an Ouroboros, and it's for the air.
You have delivered to me the one thing I need. You have given me Jessica Hyde. We're not just going to save the world. We're going to rebirth it. Your father and I had a vision. We called it Utopia. A paradise where people would behave and act correctly, free of their biological shortcomings and impulses. They can choose no path other than the right one. And so...
Also 11 plus 11, 22 V. And you know about the 2 V shapes on the Freemasonry with the blade and the chalice, male and female. There's enemies who have vows against the heirs of the throne.
Such a shitty little thing, Jessica. But you carry the future on your back, just waiting to be harvested.
Now pay attention here. She's gonna look at her wedding ring, or her engagement ring, and then she's gonna mention how her life's simulation.
I saw her movie at a film festival during COVID, and she did a Q&A after, and I was like, that person is incredible. And then she straight up called me for this movie like very soon after that, and I was like, this is a simulation. My life, the world, I'm making it up. Yeah, it was just like too kismet.
So that podcast interview and this on the day drinking, they all happened kind of around the same time, with also the interview I showed in the video Kiss from a Rose. She talks about her life being a simulation, and other things I pointed out in that interview. Now, you're going to see some mocking of her here, if she is, you know, under that MK Ultra. So
here's my note for you on this one. Hold back tears.
Are you gonna like tell me what I'm crying about, or just tell me to hold back tears?
Just hold back tears and find out when you read the line.
mocking.
Okay. Mom, Dad. I'm a puppeteer. That was alright. Can we do it again?
So good.
Do one more time?
Yeah.
Mom. Dad. I'm a puppeteer.
Puppeteer.
I was so sad for your parents.
Alright, you're going to see her do what puppeteers do with their hands.
Yeah, we're both like really casual people, and so we did this sweeping traditional thing where we were like, marry me, you marry me.
Wait,
and then we just never like planned a wedding because we were like, we kind of did it, but we'll do it. I think we have a very loose plan, which is appropriate to us for after I make my first movie.
Like, you mean when you write?
I'm directing a movie soon, and so I have to do that before we can get married because we have to send invites out and give people time to like get ready for that.
Look at you all planny.
Yeah. We haven't done any of this. This is
but the movie.
This is all hot air.
You wrote the movie?
Yeah.
And hot air, just empty talk.
Okay.
I always like the ones that get engaged quickly. Because you're like,
really?
Thank you, Jesus.
I know, but they're usually
Thank you, Jesus.
I know, but they're usually.
So while in Hawaii, I was at a location where they filmed 51st Dates, and Drew Barrymore was in there. So obviously she's been to Hawaii, and I imagine that Kristen has too. I mean, what kind of celebrity hasn't been to Hawaii? But one thing I learned as a custom there, when they put the flower in the right ear, it means that they're single. When they put it in the left, it means they're taken. So, let's see.
Like, you know those gals back in the day.
I do.
But I wonder what it's like.
This is not cool.
I wonder what it's like to be
the right ear.
Do you give yourself breaks? Do you allow...
So did you notice after that bullet sound, she stopped for the sound of it and looked? And then when you seen her kind of go to move again, she kind of winced as if she felt the bullet too. And it's going to be more pronounced in this next clip, but it's going off of that, saw what she saw, feel what she felt deal going on. Because he's going to stick his finger in her bullet wound, and you're going to see the other one kind of wince and then get angry with the fire of the jealousy, like from Zephaniah. But then she's gonna grow up as like a giant and come over there. It kind of reminds me of the movie The Gods of Egypt. How the gods in that movie, they were bigger than everyone else, and you're gonna see that go on. She's gonna come over and pull them away after. So and then right after that scene, they end up running away. It's almost as if, she died almost from her wound, even though she didn't, but in foreshadows here, because Revelation 4:3, like a jasper stone and sardius stone in appearance, and a rainbow encircled the throne like the appearance of emeralds. You're going to see the throne colors here, and they're going to both be running away in the sky. Like how Yahweh flies over her and, resurrects her, and they go away. Except they kind of have it inverted with, that bodybuilder one being a transgender. That's her little mockery with it. But in foreshadows, it's, it's the two with the throne. Now I want to point out something from a song from Blue Foundation, Eyes on Fire. So, I'll seek you out, flay you alive, one more word and you won't survive. And I'm not scared of your stolen power, I see right through you any hour. It's like that Black Ghost Full Moon song, where he says, she'll go around cursing the powers that be. And they had those articles of her saying, F you, Trump. And he's gonna, he's already saying he's the chosen one, and that, maybe he survived to save the world. He's a pretender. And shuffling the cards of your game, and just in time and in the right place, suddenly I will play my ace. Here's Kristen on the cover of a Porter magazine with her cards. Look at those aces. And yeah, this is from that first Twilight. But steadily emerging with grace. And now, this is another one from Twilight, The American Mouth, A Flightless Bird. So you got that first flightless bird, lost, and right before the second one, you got the cold and clean, blood of Christ, mountain stream. So the ruler line between these two, the two heirs of the throne of David. Well, look at these lyrics. Now I'm a fat house cat. Remember the beginning of the video too? The first clip I showed, there was a image of a cat in the background, and she does have a house cat in the movie. And you're gonna see the cat in this next scene. But I'm a fat house cat cursing my sore blunt tongue, watching the warm poison rats curl through the wide fence cracks, pissing on magazine photos, those fishing lures. But so this is gonna be a spoiler alert for the end of the movie, but from Love Lies Bleeding, she has her Daisy, who's not really her real relationship. It's kind of a false one, but she has to kill her, and it starts playing the song from Clouds of Glory album by Martin Rev. And she pulls her through these wide fence cracks, and you'll see a cat in the truck next to the sleeping Jackie. So that song is called Whisper. The best is yet to come. Who is Neo? Anyways, I think you can figure out who Daisy was. And you're gonna see that the red stage is set